Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel. The mid-Atlantic states are bracing for an onslaught of snow, rain, and ice from Virginia to New England. And bitterly cold temperatures remain across much of the rest of the country. As Caitlin Burke reports, the weather is proving to be a nightmare for travelers.
50 million Americans all along the Northeast corridor are waking up to winter weather advisories and storm warnings.
I'm pretty concerned. I'm driving all the way from Frederick, so I guess I had to leave a couple hours early.
Snow's forecast today from Washington to Boston. Some areas could see as much as 5 inches. And for travelers, that's more bad news. On Monday, 1,700 flights were canceled, including more than 100 at Chicago O'Hare, one of the busiest airports in the nation. Dallas has been a mess since last week. Some travelers stranded for days.
We were in New York City for a nice weekend and didn't get out and were put on standby and standby and standby.
We do have a lot of road equipment and we're continuing to work on it.
And driving isn't going any smoother than flying. Outside New York City, at least 36 people were injured in this massive 24-car pileup. And it appears from this home video that parked cars aren't safe either.
Holy freaking moly.
Ice from freezing rain brought down power lines Monday night, leaving well over 120,000 homes and businesses in Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland in the dark.
A tree fell at the end of the street and blocked the entire street, took down one power pole, which then took down another, which took down the third.
Forecasters say this winter has already had an unusual amount of snow. As of Monday, it's covering almost 67% of the U.S. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Tens of thousands paid tribute to Nelson Mandela at a massive memorial service in South Africa today. Mourners streamed into the 95,000-seat World Cup soccer stadium near Johannesburg early today. A joyful crowd danced and sang Mandela's name. More than 90 countries flew in representatives from Argentina to Pakistan, Trinidad to China. President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama arrived early this morning. Former President George W. Bush, his wife Laura, and former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton joined the president on the 16-hour flight from Washington. Former Presidents Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter also in attendance. President Obama was one of several invited to eulogize the anti-apartheid icon.
Mandela taught us the power of action, but he also taught us the power of ideas, the importance of reason and arguments, the need to study not only those who you agree with, but also those who you don't agree with.
After today's memorial, Mandela's body will lie in state for 3 days before a burial on Sunday. Back here at home, Senate Democrats are using the new power they granted themselves to stack America's top appeals court with Obama nominees. 2 weeks ago, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid used the so-called nuclear option to wipe out the long-standing Senate filibuster rule. Senate leaders are taking steps to give Democrats a 3-seat majority on the nation's second most powerful court. That is the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. It is the court most likely to hear challenges against any executive actions taken by President Obama. 8 major technology companies are calling on President Obama and Congress to put tighter controls on government surveillance. The companies include Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Yahoo, America Online, and LinkedIn. The letter says they understand governments have a duty to protect their citizens, but they add that government surveillance now has too much power. Writing, the balance in many countries has tipped too far in favor of the state and away from the rights of the individual, rights that are enshrined in our Constitution. The businesses are worried that people think what they do online can't be kept private. Iran's foreign minister is threatening to kill Iran's nuclear deal with the West if Congress passes new sanctions. Last month, the U.S. and 5 other world powers agreed to scale back economic sanctions if Iran would agree to cut back its nuclear program. But the U.S. Senate is looking to launch a new sanctions that would take effect in about 6 months if Iran backs out of the deal. The Iranian minister told Time magazine if Congress does that, quote, the entire deal is dead. We do not like to negotiate under duress. The Obama administration is pressuring the Senate not to pass any sanctions. Just minutes after Iran, the U.S. and other world powers signed the Geneva Accord on November 24th. They disagreed on what the document said. As Chris Mitchell explains, those differences could leave the door open for Iran to get a nuclear bomb.
After Geneva, Israel's former ambassador to the UN, Dori Gold, examined what the U.S. said about the agreement and what the Iranians said. He briefed diplomats and journalists at the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs.
So my team started translating statements made by President Hassan Rouhani, who said, dismantling our nuclear facilities, that's a red line. So there's a huge gap that's coming down the road.
Gold said the gap includes a major difference on sanctions. After the signing, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said the architecture of the sanctions remains in place.
What does Rouhani, the president of Iran, say in Farsi, in Persian language? He says the exact opposite. He says, no, we're going to fracture the architecture of sanctions, using the American term.
Americans and Capitol Hill share Gold's skepticism about the agreement. 62% say Iranian leaders aren't serious about addressing international concerns about their nuclear program. On Capitol Hill, there's bipartisan support for a bill authorizing more sanctions. The White House and Iran object to that legislation, and Iran's foreign minister tells Time magazine that if Congress approves any new sanctions, the Geneva deal is dead. Gold believes the West needs to know what Iran is doing.
Those of us who sit in the Middle East and see what Iran is doing on the ground, but what few people know is that the bloodbath in Syria is being both directed and manned by Iranian soldiers coming from the Quds Force, the overseas units of the Revolutionary Guards. Now, if you want to get a stable relationship between Iran and the West, Iran's got to cut out this behavior.
Gold warned Iran is going the way of another rogue regime.
I'm convinced that they will do what North Korea did, which was to evict the inspectors, to say the world is weak and we can do whatever we want. I know this is politically incorrect, but if you want a safe and secure world, you don't give the most dangerous weapons to the most dangerous regimes.
Given the different interpretations after the Geneva Accord, many experts here believe Iran feels it has a green light to pursue its nuclear program. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
The Muslim man on trial for killing a British soldier on a London street says he's fighting a holy war. Michael Adebolajo told the court he is a soldier of Allah who loves Al-Qaeda. He and another man are accused of killing an off-duty soldier to protest Britain's invasion of Muslim countries. Lee Rigby was run over by a car and then stabbed to death as he walked to his barracks. Adebolajo says his parents were Christians who read him the Bible when he was young, but he converted to Islam while studying at university. The American teacher who was killed in Libya last week had served on the staff of a Texas church before moving to the North African country. Baptist Press reports Ronnie Smith taught chemistry at the International School in Benghazi for 18 months. Before that, he served on staff at Austin Stone Community Church, a Southern Baptist congregation. Last week, Smith was gunned down on a city street as he went for his morning jog. No one has claimed responsibility for his death, but radical Islamists called for the kidnapping of Americans living in Libya last October. Friends are remembering Smith as a devout Christian and family man. The fight for American pastor Saeed Abedini's release from an Iranian prison continues. A congressional hearing is set for Thursday morning in Washington. Members of Congress will hear from Pastor Saeed's wife, Naghmeh, and Jordan Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice. The family is fighting to keep Saeed's case in the public eye. Naghmeh released on YouTube this precious moment of their son Jacob praying for his dad.
I love him and take good care of him and don't let him die and bring him home safely. Amen.
Pastor Abedini was transferred last month to the violent criminal ward in Rajashar prison, the deadliest prison in Iran. He's been repeatedly robbed and threatened and at knife point there, and his health is declining since Iranian authorities won't give him his medication. He's malnourished and covered in lice, and you can find out what the American Center for Law and Justice is doing and what you can do to help Pastor Abedini by going to cbnnews.com. 22 years of war between North and South Sudan ended when Southerners gained independence in July of 2011. But fighting in disputed areas of Sudan has continued. A prominent Sudanese bishop was in Washington last week asking Americans to help alleviate the suffering. Gary Lane has more.
Khartoum is attempting to control and Islamize non-Arabs by waging jihad on regions like Sudan's Nuba Mountains. Makram Gassis, the bishop of Sudan's El Abeid diocese, says Christians and others in the Nubas are still suffering at the hands of the Islamist regime.
Now they are on the cross in a special way because bombing is daily. Khartoum government sealed all the entries to the Nuba Mountains, so no food, no medicine, no fuel, no nothing.
Children who have seen their villages destroyed, their parents murdered and killed, sisters, mothers raped, and also little girls raped as well. It's just brutal war against them. They're trying to drive them out and commit jihad, force them to become Muslims. They say, no, we will not. Not far from the Nuba Mountains, near the border between Sudan and South Sudan, is the disputed region of Abyei. A recent referendum was held and the people of Abyei voted to join South Sudan, something Sudan has rejected in the past. Khartoum government in the north wants to Islamize them and drive them out of that area. And they're real resilient, they're tough people, and they've been fighting this regime now for probably 2.5 decades.
Khartoum is finding it difficult to give up Abyei because Abyei is floating on oil.
And the people of the Nubas and Abyei aren't the only ones under attack. Christians still residing in Khartoum and elsewhere in the north are experiencing persecution.
Southerners now are not looked up after favorably. They tell them, you are foreigners, you are unwanted here, why don't you go back to your country? There is pressure not to get any more personnel, missionary personnel from the outside. We don't have any more the possibilities of building churches anymore now in northern Sudan.
Call your senators, call your congressmen, call the president, State Department, let them know how you feel about the people there and that something needs to be done to put more pressure on Sudan to stop this brutal war on the people there. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Coming up, Sarah Palin on a mission to put Christ back in Christmas. The former vice presidential candidate unloads on angry atheists and the war on Christmas.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dog. He taught me the true value of this paper dog. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Millions of Americans with an ostomy live their lives to the fullest every day. And over the last 10 years, thousands have chosen Liberator Medical as their caring and reliable resource for ostomy supplies. Liberator Medical is a nationally accredited Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provider, so we can handle all your Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance paperwork and billing. And Liberator Medical has been chosen as a preferred supplier by all the leading ostomy manufacturers, including Coloplast, Hollister, Convatec, and Generics. We supply all these leading ostomy brands, so you can always get the ostomy supplies and accessories you want and trust. And all of our ostomy care specialists are product certified by the manufacturers. Shipping is free and discreetly delivered right to your door. Unhappy with your present ostomy supplier? Call Liberator Medical and ask about our free ostomy sampling program. We also offer catheters and urological supplies.
Call 1-800-513-3076. That's 1-800-513-3076.
You're watching CBN News Channel. Available on the web 24/7 at cbnnewschannel.com.
The makers of the hit TV Bible series are gearing up for another religious historical drama, The Dove Keepers, this time for CBS. TV producer Mark Brunette and his wife, actress Roma Downey, are producing The Dove Keepers, about 4 women who worked to save 900 Jews under siege by the Roman army at Masada. CBS announced it will air a 4-hour miniseries based on it sometime in 2015. In 2008, Sarah Palin made history as the first Republican woman to run for vice president. Today, she is not on the campaign trail, but she's still in the spotlight. Now she's right in the middle of the battle to protect the heart of Christmas. David Brody brings us that story.
In a way, it's like 2008 all over again.
Hundreds of East Texans lined up for hours this morning.
It was a fan frenzy outside Barnes & Noble.
Even though it's been 5 years since Sarah Palin ran for vice president, her fans still can't get enough of her.
This has been one of my dreams come true. So she's just a wonderful person inside and out. So this has been a highlight of my life. It's history in making.
The hoopla is over Palin's new book called Good Tidings and Great Joy, Protecting the Heart of Christmas. Palin tells CBN News that the book is a rallying cry for Christians to stand up against those who want to keep faith out of the public square.
We were founded, as written in our Charters of Liberty and the documents that created America, we're founded on a Judeo-Christian faith that would allow forever the right to express our respect for faith in America.
Palin says those rights are under attack from atheists, and she has a name for them in the book: Joe McScrooge.
How dangerous is someone like a Joe McScrooge to America?
That's a great question, because a Joe McScrooge, armed with an attorney, is quite dangerous.
Indeed, each year stories like this constantly make the news. Just recently, a Colorado school stopped its association with Operation Christmas Child after atheists threatened to sue. Same thing in Alsip, Illinois, where the small town stopped putting up its annual cross on the water tower for fear of a lawsuit.
The road that we are on today is too many of those angry atheists armed with attorneys would try to take away that freedom to express faith. Well, it's going to end in ruin unless we do something about it.
And that's where the fight comes in. Palin, who knows a thing or two about adversity, tells Christians not to be intimidated.
I want this book to be a call to action, to take steps for school districts, for communities, for business owners, for families to understand they don't have to hide their faith. They don't have to be embarrassed by it.
Palin adds this isn't just about fighting lawsuits.
This war on Christmas is really the tip of the spear when it comes to a greater battle that's brewing. And that battle that's brewing is those who would want to take God out of our society, out of our culture, which will lead to ruin, as history has proven.
Palin also sees big government as part of the problem and makes it clear that includes the Obama administration.
To tell you the truth, David, I don't know what they're doing right.
She keeps her message out there as a Fox News contributor. Her political action committee is loaded with supporters and money to burn in the upcoming 2014 midterm elections. And candidates still seek her endorsement. She hits the road in important political states like Iowa, preaching constitutional conservatism.
The crowning achievement of their Church of Big Government, Obamacare.
But Palin isn't interested in just taking on this president. Her heart is for a better America, a place where people can express their faith freely. In the book, she says without a faith in Christ, she wouldn't have been able to stand through those very tough times when she ran for vice president.
There is no way I would be standing if it weren't for that faith that, I adopted as a kid, asking Christ into my life, putting my life in His hands, saying, God, you're my creator. I've got to believe that you know more about destiny than I do. So, heaven forbid I try to orchestrate it myself. Lord, send me, I'll go.
David Brody, CBN News.
Up next, most people know him as the Love Boat's Captain Steubing. Next, we hear from actor Gavin MacLeod about which role in his life matters most.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Prayer can boost your self-control and emotional stability. The London Daily Mail reports that's the finding from a study in Germany. Earlier studies found when people simply tried hard to control their own emotions and thoughts, they tend to get angry or go into binge drinking or eating. But the German study says prayer gives people greater strength to maintain their self-control and ability to resist temptation. Other studies have also found prayer helps people control themselves, including decreasing the levels of adultery and drinking. Actor Gavin MacLeod is known for playing some great characters in TV history, including the serious-minded writer Murray on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and as Captain Steubing on The Love Boat. Wendy Griffith had the chance to talk to him recently on the 700 Club about his greatest role in life.
And that's one of the messages I have here, that you never give up.
Right.
That the best is yet to come. I'm 82 now, and the best is yet to come. I'm able to serve the Lord at this age with such... The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Wow.
Because I've been through physical stuff like you can't believe. You know, bypass, and I have stents all over me and all those things. But every day is a joy. Every day is to be able to say... When I realized that I could be forgiven of my sins and become born again and given a new role in life, I have never stopped thanking the Lord for that. And that's what makes me tick, and that's what makes this book go, and that's why people are buying this book. Like, I guess they're getting encouraged, and that's what I wanted to do with this book. I wanted to, like, if I can bring one person to the Lord by reading this book, it would be worth all the effort.
That was such a great era for television, wasn't it? You know, The Love Boat and Mary Tyler Moore, and it just doesn't seem like, you know, last night I was turning on the TV trying to find something, and there's just nothing on.
It's a different time today. Yeah. It's a completely different time. I went to New York with my book, and I met so many people who interviewed me. And the interesting thing is, like your age, there were little children when The Love Boat was on, but they used to sit with their grandparents and their mom and dad and have that experience, starting with the Mary Tyler Moore Show, because you could sit. And even today, when those reruns, the reruns are going through the roof, because usually people with families or older folks are watching those shows again. It brings back memories, but also it's something that's palatable and almost inspiring, if you will, compared to the things that are out there today.
Now, in 1986, Gavin, you were actually right here in this studio co-hosting the 700 Club. Tell me about that.
What an honor. Well,
there you are. Check that out.
Well, that's Dr. Edwin Lewis Cole. I love that man. Oh, gee, I did look younger, don't I?
Changed. I'm serious. You have not hardly changed at all.
Oh, I loved him. He had the Christian Men's Network, and he wrote Maximize Manhood. And that was a wonderful experience to be with him on this program.
Well, of all the roles that you've played, which one would you say is your favorite role?
My favorite role, without any kind of even thinking about it, is Jonathan Sperry. I did a small Christian film. We made it for less than $1 million.
and I played this older gentleman, Jonathan Sperry, who teaches these young boys the Bible. And it has brought more people to Jesus than you can believe. I call it the little movie that could. And it's all over the world now. There's a man in Canada who's distributed 200,000 of them. And I get letters all the time, from all parts of the world, from people who will come to Jesus because of this movie. Just last week, I got a letter from a grandmother they came home from church, and the little boy they had just seen the movie. And he's crying and he's praying. And she said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm just praying." She said, that God will keep me from being the bully that I am.
Oh, dear.
Because we deal with bullyhood in the movie.
Fantastic. Well, Gavin, you're 82. You're still acting. You're writing.
The joy of the Lord is our
obviously
strength.
Still preaching. It's so wonderful to see you and meet you. And Gavin's book is called "This Is Your Captain Speaking," and it's available wherever books are sold.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the Invent Help Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how Invent Help may be able to assist you, call now. Invent Help is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call Invent Help today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Finally, there's now a Bible app just for kids. The creators of YouVersion, the hugely popular and free Bible app, have just come out with another free app geared at kids ages 4 through 10. The Bible app for kids can be downloaded on Apple, Android, and some Kindle mobile devices. It's already been downloaded 1 million times since it was made available on Thanksgiving Day. The app was developed in collaboration with the international ministry One Hope, which claims to have touched nearly 1 billion young lives with God's Word. An app for kids. Well, that's going to do it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day, and God bless.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.